You guys had a lot to say about my last video. Let's talk about it. Overwhelmingly, the video was pretty positive, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought I was going to get a lot more shit for it. I guess that just leads me to believe that more people do think this way. It's just a hard topic to engage with because it is hard to put into words, you know? And I'm glad that I was able to kind of provide you guys with a video that kind of encapsulated the ideas that everybody was kind of thinking, but just didn't know how to say. So, hey, I appreciate that. That was really cool. But that does not mean, just because it was overtly positive, does not mean that it was entirely correct. And you guys had some issues with some of the smaller parts of my arguments and stuff like that, which is fair, I guess. First thing I'm going to address. There was some people that were like basically questioning my way about engaging with the topic because they thought that like, oh, this is just a reactionary take, you know, like the whole shit that I made fun of in the beginning of the video. Okay, I'm fucking racist. They felt like it was a reactionary way that I engaged with it, I guess. Let me just read one of the comments, I guess. So basically they make the statement, I do wonder if videos like this are on some basic level an actual belief someone can hold, removed from all context or grift, to invite the people who misrepresent the topic because of their views. And I would get that assessment of my content if I had more content to make that assessment by. It's a little strange to call me a reactionary when I only have 9 videos up. I don't know. It just seems a little odd to me that you could characterize me so quickly when there's not enough like background information for you to be able to put me in a box, you know? I would get it if I was putting a video out every day talking about kind of the same thing. Like if I was like, oh, I made a video on Velma. Oh, I made a video on Shaggy. Oh, I made a video on Ariel. Oh, you know, like that would make sense to me for you to call me a reactionary a little bit more. But I only made one video right now about that topic. And I don't think I'm probably not going to make another video about that topic because I kind of addressed everything that I really wanted to say. It wouldn't make sense for me to talk about Shaggy getting a race change and Ariel getting a race change and all these other characters because it's the same topic. What am I going to say? Like, am I just going to keep saying the same shit over and over again? It's like, no, if anybody asks me how I feel about a certain thing, I'll be like, I don't know, just go watch my fucking video on Velma that I did. You know, I'm not necessarily targeting like Velma specifically. I was using Velma more as like a current event to spur the argument or spur the conversation. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to get hung up on the specific example of Velma or whatever. I want you guys to engage with the core topic that I'm talking about, and that is race swapping and how it's implemented. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There's nothing really to it. It's strange of you to categorize me as a reactionary without like any other instances. It's like you can make that assumption, I guess, but that's all it is an assumption, you know? I also would be careful in who you call a reactionary because then you're starting to muddy the waters of who is actually a reactionary because you're putting me on level with them when I don't think that a reactionary has enough time to be able to apply the amount of nuance that I did to the subject. My question for the entire video was what makes somebody of a cultural background? Is it just the color of their skin? No, it has to be more than that. There's so much more to culture than just your skin tone. Like, I don't think that's a reactionary take. I think that's a very progressive, nuanced take to say that about culture and be like, no, I think there's more to culture than your skin. There has to be. Like, that's all that makes sense, you know? So, yeah, you can call me a reactionary all you want, but that's a surface level engagement with what I'm doing. So yeah, maybe just give me a little bit more time, make 15, 20 more videos and see where you can categorize me if you really want to box me in like that, I guess. It's going to be really hard for you too, I think, because I'm not trying to adhere to like a specific set of thoughts. I'm trying to engage with my own thoughts in my own mind and do it fairly and do it like responsibly. because yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing a commentator should be doing is taking their time. And like a reactionary to me is somebody who gives their immediate like stance on things in a very strong manner without a lot of like work done in order to get to their positions, right? There's a video that I'm going to be making soon that is going to explain my idea of that mental jump, right? That's going to be a later thing. I'll let you guys know when that comes. It's I'm going to call it the bridge analogy. I'm not going to explain it right now, but it's an important thing I think that people are missing out on when they make strong stances about things, especially when you are a commentator. You know, it's something that I think Ethan Klein does. It's something that I think Steven Crowder does. It's a very dangerous thing to do within a commentary community, you know? So, yeah, I think it's going to be really hard for you to box me in with any specific group other than myself, because I'm trying to work through it with you guys. You know what I mean? This channel is meant to be a conversation channel and talk about things that should be talked about. And a lot of times one or the other side will stray away from it or represent it in a bad light. So maybe I can change that, hopefully. Be careful about labeling me as a reactionary, because the fact that I applied the amount of nuance I did to the topic I was talking about means that I didn't give my base reaction. I thought about it a lot longer and I engaged with it a lot longer. And here I am right now engaging with you and engaging with everybody who was commenting and the themes that were presented to me. And whether those changed my mind or not is what we're going to talk about today. So yeah, another common theme that came up in my video, one of the probably the most contentious parts of my argument was the fact that I used Disney as an example for a good, as like one of the good examples. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. But I did kind of address it in the video where I said, like I memed it, you know what I mean? I memed that Disney was a representative of a good example of representing cultures. Probably a bad example due to the fact that there was like they are currently doing the same thing that that I was critiquing. Yeah, probably a really bad example. A better example probably would have been Miles Morales, because that explains it entirely. Because me generalizing a company is probably not the best way to do this, but picking out certain characters is going to illustrate a better argument or illustrate a better like thing for you guys to be able to understand what I'm saying. Miles Morales is perfect, I think. It's not just like, oh, this is Peter Parker. We just changed his skin tone. No, it's like, no, the mantle was passed down to Miles Morales. And I really like that argument. I really enjoy that. And that's why people don't have a negative reaction to Miles Morales and actually love him. Probably some people probably love Miles Morales more than Peter Parker, because it was done in that way. It wasn't just Peter Parker becomes black. It was Miles Morales is a new person, and this is dope. He may be doing the same. He essentially is performing the same task that Spider-Man does, but it is a different character entirely. Another example was Green Lantern, where they went from Hal Jordan to John Stewart, where it was a mantle change. I think that's done super well. I think that's really good. Yeah, that's basically what I was talking about when I was referencing Disney. Maybe, you know, I shouldn't have used Disney, but, you know, the core argument is still there. Don't get hung up on the Disney thing, right? But yeah, that's a good critique of my video, because it would have been better if I said Miles Morales. I think it would have went over a lot better for a few people. But hey, the point still stands. I think these were my favorite comments when I was going through, like, you know, reading a lot of them and stuff like that. I really enjoyed seeing all of you guys like talk about the skateboard so much. It was just hilarious to me. I love that. Every time I see one of those comments, it made me laugh. So a lot of you were asking who this was. I don't know who the fuck that is. I just thought it looked cool. You know, a lot of my boards I get because I like the art style. You know, Chun-Li, obviously, I know who the fuck that is. But if you do want to get these particular boards, they're jeremyklein.com or hookups.com. It's a very classic skateboarding company, and it's really good, really nice, good artwork. Risque for sure, but you know, part of the skate culture, so I had to. This one, Hobson, Dogtown. People were pointing out a bunch of those. Rodney Mullen skateboard. We got Naruto, and then we have that old like classic Randy Calvin board. And then I have the Ed and Eddie back there with a couple of my customs. I really enjoyed those comments. So yeah, if I keep seeing those, I'll be pretty happy. Let's move back on to the Velma arguments. People were presenting me with a question of why should the majority appease the minority? Or other forms of this argument. People were basically saying like, no, actually representation doesn't matter because why should we represent the minority? And a lot of them pointed to like comparing America to other countries. Why aren't we pushing representation in China and Japan and like other countries and things like that? Well, America is one of the most diverse nations in the entire world in probably all of history. We have a little bit of everybody here. You go to Japan, they don't have a black population. They don't have like an outsider population. America, we don't have a solid ethnic like background. It's not even white. Like there's a lot of white people, but like even that's not it. Like it's not a white culture we have. We have Irish culture, we have Italian culture, we have Native American culture, we have black culture, we have fucking Hispanic culture. It's diverse as fuck. And even within America, we have all of our subcultures that bleed down from those. That doesn't even involve ethnicity. So we cannot compare America to other countries. I would never advocate, or I would never tell, like, I would never try and force like Japan to make black represented movies for Japan. Why? Why the fuck would I? They're strictly Japanese. They don't have our population. The reason that it matters so much in America is because we are altogether Americans. All of our cultures represent a full America and what we are as a diverse nation. And it's so weird to me that people are always in this, when they present this argument to me, they want to present it in a way that it's like companies shouldn't have to appease to the minority. It's like, well, okay, listen, just because there is a larger percentage of white people that live in this country does not mean that those white people aren't also going to consume different cultural media. There are a bunch of movies that are culturally black movies that are considered classic movies in America. So I don't understand this point, this business sense point that you try to push to me, that it makes sense for companies not to represent cultures because obviously they should only represent the majority, like the majority group in a certain country. That doesn't make any sense to me, because if that were the case, it was not profitable for other cultures to be represented, anime would not be a fucking thing in this country. Anime is one of the one of the growing and more popular forms of media in America. And that's not a white, like, majority thing. It's accepted by, like, that's so, it's just a fucking weird argument to me to, like, companies should only be making, like, media that goes towards a majority color in the States. Doesn't make sense. Squid Games is another example. Like these are other movies represented by like other peoples and their cultures that we love. Like I said, I don't care what other countries do. I'm talking about America. In other countries, obviously they don't have to like adhere to the same thing that America does because they're fundamentally different. America, like I said, is the most diverse country in the world. I could walk outside and see like so many different like kinds of people. Why not have that on TV too? That's what we live. That's what we see. That's what we breathe. That's us. Our media should be that like super diverse. My contention is doing it lazily and doing it as a veneer for actual diverse media. So that's who we live. That's our neighbors. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So fuck off. I filmed a lot of the rest of this video in a different day, so that's why I'm dressed differently. Somebody brought up a interesting point. It might even warrant a separate video because I'm not going to be able to fully engage with the ideas. One of those ideas was, does sexuality matter within media? One of the things that people had like an issue with as well because of the Velma, like with Velma, was that they made her lesbian. Feels like a different type of thing. That's going to have to be a separate video. I think it deserves its own video and for me to engage with it in the way I did with the last one. And there was this other comment that I might dive into a little bit more. This is the question in mind, right? Should I refrain from certain topics because some people are going to use my words as ammo for their opposing cause or whatever? And basically, this person was questioning whether or not it was responsible for me to talk about this type of thing because I could possibly be giving ammo to racist people or something, you know, which I totally understand. I understand that. I don't think that warrants me not talking about a certain topic, though, because we already see this happening. We already see people using scientific data or statistics or things like that to fit their narrative. I could have the most accurate representation of what I'm trying to talk about, and somebody can come along and pick out the parts that they want to fit their narrative. But my video isn't for them. My video is for the people who are not trying to be bad faith actors, who aren't trying to cherry pick things out of it. I'm going to for sure get those type of people in my audience. I'm going to for sure get those type of people in my comment section who think that they can use my arguments to push a opposite cause or a racist cause or something like that. That'll always happen. That happens in every community. Does that necessarily mean that I shouldn't talk about these things? No, because I think more importantly, those people are a minority. Always. I do not think that the 2,000 people who just subscribe to me are all racist. I think that a majority of them hear my words and understand what I'm trying to say. I just don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case that 2,000 people that just follow me are racist people, especially in regards to what my messaging was, because I don't think any real racist people would have been able to agree with my points. I'm advocating for diversity in media, you know? I just want it to be done right. It's very important for people to talk about these things. It's very important that we don't try to 5D chess ourselves into a corner because there's a worry that racist people or bad faith actors are going to use my arguments against me. I want to equip you guys with ideas, and I'm going to talk about it a little more in the video. But like I said, people are going to use these things however they want to, but the comments do not represent me. My words represent me. I understand that it could be scary to give people ammunition and give people these ideas to try and pick around and stuff, but it's even more important that the people who are trying to engage honestly have these ideas too. Because then you are also equipped. You also are getting ammunition to counter these people who are using this information wrong. That's all I have to really say about that, I think. Back to past me. This was Editor Bobby. I'm back to old me. So, I mean, that was pretty much it. That was a lot of the main themes in my last video's comment section. I want to continue to do this. I want to give you put out a topical video, and make sure that I give you guys enough time to respond and engage with it, because that's how we have conversations, and that's how we progress as a society. Our thoughts. You know, we can't progress if we're always stuck to an ideological side. If I'm not like trying to think about these things, and I can't express myself in a certain way, then like how am I supposed to ever come to a good conclusion? Because I think people are fundamentally trying to reach a good place for all of humans. I feel like that is probably true. Some people are pretty selfish, but I think that it's probably the best idea to try and come to the best conclusion for all of humanity as much as possible. That's why I want to do this. That's why I want to make these videos, and I want to engage with the comments. And I don't want to curate a bunch of people who agree with me. I want to curate a bunch of people who are willing to talk, who are willing to have conversation. We don't have to agree on everything, but we should be able to engage with each other and present our ideas in a way that is not trying to bring anybody down. And that's not to say that I won't shit on some people sometimes because they do some stupid shit, but at the very core of it, I want to engage with the ideas and do my best to come to a good conclusion with all the things that are out there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things to think about. Nobody has all the answers. That's why I think reactionary shit is stupid. That's why I think reactors like Ethan Klein and Steven Crowder are really like bad ways of engaging with the society in which we live, because you can't always have the answers. There's no way. There's no way you can put out a video on something the day after or the same day. It's impossible for you to have a proper engagement with the topic that you're trying to address if you do it that quick. So be patient. I'm gonna have a lot of videos that come out, but I'm always gonna take my time with them as much as possible, because I think that's where the issue lies with a lot of commentators, is that they're chasing the money. You have to be the first to talk about something. You always have to be first, because if you're not first, then somebody else is gonna talk about it, and they're gonna get the views, and they're gonna get the clicks, and they're gonna blah 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 blah. I don't have to. I want to provide value, and there's no value in me reacting immediately. There's more value in me thinking about it and presenting a good idea to you guys, and I want to continue to do that. And I'm glad you guys really enjoyed that last video, because it means a lot. I reacted in a very interesting way to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I might post that video, but I really appreciate everything. So hopefully we can continue to build a good community of people who are willing to have conversations, and not have a bunch of people who are dogmatic in their ideologies. Did I change my mind? Hold up. I didn't address that. Did I change my mind on anything? Not really. None of these things really were going to change my mind. I think that where I'm at right now with that whole situation with race swapping, it's pretty solid. I feel pretty solid in what I said and what I'm, in this video too. That still could change in the future. Like I said, your mind should always be open to change. I'll see you on the next video, and thank you for watching this one. Deuces. Oh wait, one more thing. Shout out to all my natives out there. There's a few of you who commented and were like, "Hey yo, native gang, native gang." Hey, so shout out to you guys, all the Native American people in my comment section. I'm here to represent y'all on YouTube as a voice. So hey, let's do it.